Hey everyone, my name's Bree, and I have 7 books to recommend for you for this fall season. We'll start with my recommendations for that chill in the air, smell of wet leaves, sound of crackling fire, fall vibes that you need from those books. These books have crumbling manners, academic halls, light of the moon rituals, discovered secret diaries, and or some spice here and there. And as we get closer to Halloween, I'll recommend the books that will give you that spook. You know, a healthy dose of terror to check to make sure the ticker is still in good working order. All of these books hit either 4 or 5 stars for me. They are absolute atmospheric bangers. All right, we're doing this. My first ever book recommendation for you all is A Great and Terrible Beauty. This book I read first when I was a teenager and then again in my early 20s. And this trilogy is one that has forever been etched into my mind. It is your perfect dark academia read for this fall. From what I remember, our FMC, after the death of her mother, is forced by her maternal grandmother to attend the same English all girls boarding school that her mother did. Gemma, who is as unpolished and as unbridled as you can get for a woman of the Victorian era, grapples with society's expectations of the women of this time. However, she soon meets a group of girls who are just as eager to escape society's chains. This book has midnight trysts into the dark forest for witchy rituals. There's also a forbidden love with just a little bit of spice, but very well done spice. But ultimately, it shows just how strong female friendship can be and how far friends will go to protect one another. This book is so immersive. It will have you feeling every single emotion. Loved every page of this book. 5 stars. I would actually love to reread this myself again, as I've gotten to the point where I don't entirely remember the whole story, but I'm eager to read all of those scenes that have always stuck with me. Next up, Crave. I warn you, this series has a bit of a mixed bag of reviews. Clearly, it is not for everyone. However, I really enjoyed it. If you were a girly who loved watching The Vampire Diaries and Gossip Girl, I found that this novel brought me back to all of those first time feels of watching those shows. And for that, I appreciate it. After the death of her parents, our FMC is brought to this academy of magical beings where her uncle is headmaster. An academy of magical beings. However, she is the only human who is enrolled. She is entranced by the leader of the vampire clique, whose traumatic scars and resulting strength echoes her own. Being the only human in the academy brings its own set of challenges. However, our girls' strength, determination, and grit help level the playing field. It's a bit of a David versus Goliath meets Gossip Girl meets Teenage Vampire. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I would love to continue this series this fall. The Witching. This dark, witchy tale transports us to a devout village that is both shepherded and caged by a man called the Prophet. Our FMC was a child born out of a union of forbidden love. Because of her father being an outsider and not a follower, her whole life had always been given a wide berth, a side eye, and had always been treated differently. Our FMC is a strong, powerful witch that has always had to keep that side of herself a secret. She tried to follow, conform, and be devout. However, when she travels into the dark wood one night, she is led by the ghosts of murdered witches to a discovery that changes both her and her entire village. I gave this book 4 stars. All right, so now we're heading into the more spooky side of fall, particularly the beginning of spooky season, which leads us to Gallant. This was my first ever V.E. Schwab book, and I still think about it to this day. I originally read this book in the springtime, but I remember throughout I was wishing that I was reading it in the fall time. I remember trying to even put this book down and wait till the fall. However, V.E. Schwab is a master storyteller, and I couldn't put this book down. Our FMC opens a letter from her extended family inviting her to leave her all girls boarding school to live with them in Gallant. So she packs her few belongings, including her mother's journal, a journal that descends into madness. What she soon discovers after living in Gallant is her mother's madness may just be the key to understanding the dark secrets of her new home. If you are an 80s, 90s child and you ever watched the movie A Secret Garden, this was giving me those very same feels, but give it a twisted, grim phantom component. FMC literally takes a trip in through the garden of the manor she's in, and in doing so, finds a wall and a gate that separates her world from a shadow world. And what lives on the other side is not for the faint of heart. 5 stars for this book. Next, we've got The Shepherd King Duet. Everyone and their mother is recommending this duet, but for very good reason. I read these last fall and they hit. The vibes give you that chill in the air, that spook, that little bit of spook. I gobbled this down like a turkey. The magic system is so unique. I would hands down recommend this duet for your fall TBR. I gave both books 5 stars. This next one, The Death of Jane Lawrence, the only time to read this book is around Halloween. This is a fever dream of a story that is full of intense moments, and it has a creepiness from beginning to end. This is a story where a logical, by the book woman marries the town surgeon, a marriage of convenience. Her thought is she'll be able to live the rest of her days in relative studious peace. But the halls of Lindridge Manor have other ideas for her, and she soon discovers the veil of terrifying, illogical things. I gave this book 4 stars. Last but not least, we have The Call. Let me premise this one by saying this book will not be for everyone. It's like an amped up version of the Hunger Games, but this world and these monsters are terrifying. It had me in a damn chokehold from beginning to end. Nothing like I've ever read before. It would be perfect for your spooky TBR for the days leading up to Halloween if you don't have a weak stomach. I gave it 5 stars for originality and for giving me the terror that I would expect from a horror book.